find a seat that feels comfortable to you. Whatever is cozy, whatever is good. And just land. Just land. Feel yourself settling like a snow globe, settling into here now. Whatever that means for you. Even making a little bubble around you, energetically speaking, that's very much the bubble of right now. Whatever conversations, thoughts, excitements, worries you've had about the future, past, etc., relationship things that may have been going on previous to this, they can stay outside the bubble just for the remainder of the class. We're getting really present with whatever is right this moment, which involves our breath. So noticing that you have a breath. With your body, moving the body around a little bit just to say hello to it. Get a little bit acquainted in this very moment with the body. Opening the mouth, making some weird faces, smiling, frowning, making fish face, whatever. Whatever gets you present and in the here and now. We'll do a couple sighs. Inhale deeply. Ah, that ah breath. Ah. Ah. Yeah. So our theme for the week is finding your touchstone, right? The touchstone being that upon which we land. And when we have access to our touchstone, which you could liken to your Satnam, your true self, that essential, solid piece of self, when we have access to that, or when our access is really clear, life is not so confusing, life is not so foggy, life is much more accessible. And we're able to make decisions with a clarity and a grace that isn't always available if we're walking around in circles in a dark woods, if you will, if that touchstone isn't so available. And we access our touchstone in the kundalini yoga practice by changing the shape of our body and changing our breath, or getting in touch with our breath, and then shifting our breath as the Kriya requests, or as the practice requests. And when we do that, we start to feel a shift in our energy. And as we notice that shift in our energy, we start to get attuned to our subtle alignment. So the stuff that's under the hood, if you will, the stuff that's more subtle than the physical body, more subtle even than the energy that's super obvious to us. The stuff that's underneath that starts to turn and realign. I like to think of a clock, a really delicate piece of machinery. If you get that kind of imagery, but you light it up with translucency and glowing, that's the subtle body that we're talking about. And when the subtle body starts to shift, our consciousness starts to change. And all of this happens by root of this body that we have, right? Our endocrine system starts to make changes. The hormones we put out start to change. That changes our energy. That changes our subtle body. That changes our consciousness. And when our consciousness changes, as a result of us getting in touch with our touchstone, in this case with our core, what happens is our perspective starts to broaden. So instead of being on the zoomed in lens, we start to access a bit more panorama. So it's not that the reality itself changes, it's that our perception of the reality changes. And what we start to realize is that as our perception of the reality changes, you could say that the reality does change because the way that we're acting starts to change. And that has an impact on the world around us, on the people around us. So we move from this very gross, accessible physical body into our breath, into our energy, into this subtle stuff, machinery, into our consciousness. And then that consciousness brings us back to the beginning again, and before you know it, it's next Monday and it's time to come back to kundalini yoga. So we're constantly rinsing and repeating. And by virtue of coming back to our touchstone, we get this really deep sense of self. It's not the only way. Kundalini isn't the only way to access it. You know, you might find that going out into nature is really helpful. You might find that singing is really helpful. There's a lot of ways to do it, but my experience shows that this is a really, really cool way to get this stuff done. So we'll tune in, rub the palms, wake up the nerve endings, sigh. Bring your thumbs into the sternum and we'll sing. Namo Guru Dev Adgure Name, Jugatgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgure Name, Jugatgure Name, Satgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgare Name, Jugatgare Name, Satgare Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Inhale. Lift the pelvic floor, gaze to your third eye. Set an intention for the class. Exhale, release. We'll just do a couple Sufi grinds while we're seated. Inhale forward, exhale back. And switch directions. Deep inhales, complete exhales. Allowing this warm-up period to be a great time to check in. How is your breath? How is your body? What would it be wise to focus on for the duration of the class? Nice. And into center. Feel your seat bones connected to the earth. Feel the crown of the head above you. And the air above you, the ether, the space. We're going to make our way to standing. And we're gonna start really simple. Feet a little wider than hips width apart. Lift the toes. Feel the thighs press back. Feel the chest rise towards the ceiling. Crown of the head rises. And inhale the arms up. And exhale them slowly down through space. Inhale up. Look up, baby back bend. Exhale down. A little bend of the knees. Inhale up. And exhale, forward fold. Take a breath and forward fold, letting the crown of the head relax down. And then begin to bring the arms up towards the left, like the arms are hands of a clock. Up and exhale over and down, and we'll move them in a circular motion. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Go as slow as you need to be in your body and really aware of what things feel like. And go as quickly as you like. Notice the soles of the feet. Notice the fingertips. And fill everything in between with breath, with prana, vital life force energy. The next time you're down, switch directions. Inhaling up towards the right and exhaling down. You might notice popping in the back, in the joints. Good. Get the excess air out. Full breaths in. Feel your lungs expand. Complete breaths out. Feel your lungs empty. A couple more times here. Good. And then forward fold, maybe moving the hips side to side, maybe coming to stillness, whatever feels appropriate. And then make your way towards the top of your mat, coming to standing. Inhale, the arms above the head. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins or on the floor. Crown of the head shines forward, heart shines forward. Exhale to step the feet back, plank pose. Inhale and plank, and then lower knees, chest, and chin, or all the way down through chaturanga. Untuck the toes to inhale, cobra. Drawing the heart through the gateway of the arms. Exhale, tuck the toes, coming back through the knees or just lifting up to downward facing dog. Take a breath in down dog. Find stillness here. Wherever you landed is just fine. Breathe. Feel the crown of the head relax. Feel the eyes soften, the jaw soften. On the bottom of your next exhale, step forward to a fold. Inhale, arms above the head. Exhale, hands into the chest. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, plank. Inhale and plank. And then lower through chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, all the way to cobra or up dog if you prefer. Heart shines forward here. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath. On your next exhale, right foot comes forward, left knee stays up, or if you want the stability, it can come down. Hands come to either side of the right foot, or if you don't have the space in your body, you can bring them up to your knee. Breathe as you send your right hip back, lifting the chest, dropping the tailbone, firming the left hip forward and sending that back heel back in space. Exhale, send the right foot back, lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, press the hips back, down dog. Take a breath.
On your next exhale, left foot forward. Same thing on this side. You're welcome to bring that right knee down.
Either way, one long line of energy between the crown of the head, which shines forward, and that right heel, right sole of foot, which are going to send themselves back. That right thigh pressing up in space if the right knee is off the ground. Take another breath here. Firm the sides of the hips in. Exhale to forward fold, stepping forward. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands into center. Take a breath. Notice your energy. Notice that prana, that vital life force starting to swirl around, get activated. We're going to keep the right foot where it is. Send the left foot back. You're going to be heel to arch, about 3.5 feet between the feet. Bend that front knee, warrior two. Inhaling the arms out to the side, sending the chest to the left, forward to the left rather. Looking over your right middle finger, keeping that right knee over the right ankle, firming the left thigh back. Breathe. Exhaling, right elbow to right knee, extend the left arm up and over your ear, side angle pose. Draw that right knee out towards the right side of your mat, opening up the hips. Grounding through the outside of that left back foot. Breathe. You could look up if you want. Inhaling back up to warrior two. Exhaling, hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Inhale here, chest up towards the sky. Exhale, humble warrior, hands come up, head comes down. Relax the crown of the head down, firm through the legs. Like you're pressing down through the soles of the feet to get a little lift through the legs. A little buoyancy. Lifting those arms as high as you can without straining. Inhaling back to warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel the hands down, send the right foot back. We'll inhale and plank. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. This time the left foot's gonna come forward, right foot's gonna come back. Warrior two on this side. Once again, sending that left knee open so it doesn't wing in. Left knee tracks over the left middle toes. Left middle toe. Gaze over your left middle finger. Firm that back thigh. Breathe. On your next exhale, left elbow to left knee. Right arm overhead. You could look up. One long line of energy from the outside of your right foot through that firm right leg, all the way to your fingertips, looking up or looking down, whatever feels better on your neck. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, interlace the fingers, opposite way this time, so whatever way doesn't feel so great or so normal. And then next exhale, humble warrior. Staying really firm, really steady in your connection to the soles of the feet. Pressing down like you get a rebound from the ground. Relax the crown of the head. Draw those arms up. Inhaling to warrior two. You're doing great. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Left knee steps back. Right knee steps, comes down. Knees come wide, hips back, child's pose. Crown of head to the ground or to stacked fists or stacked hands. On your exhale, feel the tailbone and the hips relax down. Feel your energy, what shifts, what swirls, what doesn't move. Taking stock, taking field notes.
And inhaling to all fours, take a brief arch of the back, cow pose. Exhale for cat. One more. And then send the hips back. We're gonna come into rock pose, basically. So hips onto the heels, or seat bones onto the heels. You want your hands in front of you like a stone lion at a Buddhist temple. And we'll start the Kriya. So this Kriya, the official name of it is the Kriya to keep you enchantingly beautiful, which really just means that it activates our endocrine system. It activates our hormones so that they're balanced, so that we end up glowing, right? So we're gonna come into a cat-cow here, inhaling to arch, exhaling to round. Moving back and forth as briskly as you can, but not so briskly that you hurt yourself. If this, for some reason, doesn't work well, you can sit in easy pose, cross-legged. You wanna tuck your chin on the exhale and lift your chin up on the inhale. Arms nice and straight, like you're drawing the inhale up through the palms of the hands and the pads of the fingers. Like you're drawing that power up through the earth. Really creating some alchemy here. Nice. Eyes, the default position for them is closed, gaze to your third eye. About halfway there. So just stay with it, get into the meditation of the movement. Keeping an eye on the elbows. Are they straight? Kundalini yoga is a science of angles as much as it is an art. Good, less than 60 seconds left here. Think of yourself using this motion as a hydraulic pump for the spine, drawing the cerebrospinal fluid through and around in ways that just don't happen unless we create the opportunity. Moving from the physical, the gross, to the subtle. Last handful of times, really see if you can enjoy the motion. Can you make it really fluid? And inhale, lift the pelvic floor at the top. Hold the breath. Lifting, holding. Exhale, coming up to seated. Our torso perpendicular to the ground. You could move the hands a bit, move the wrists a little bit. Feel free to shake out the legs if they need it. Feel for a moment that settling, that perceptible energetic shift, that subtle body communication. And then we'll stay where we are, same situation with the lower body, interlacing the hands behind the back and leaning forward, lifting the hands. Continue long, deep breathing here. You want a bit of a neck lock, meaning you draw the sides of the neck back. So gently tucking the chin, not aggressive like this, just drawing the chin in, lengthening the back of the neck. See if you can breathe into the back side of the body here. Can you feel the back side of the spine lighting up with the breath as you hold the posture, lifting the hands as high up as they will go. If you're tempted to get a bit of a sway back, an overarch in the low back, just get a touch of engagement in the low belly, even drawing the pubic bone up. Or alternatively, just breathing into the part of the back that wants to overarch, filling it up. Find what works for you in terms of adjusting to keep yourself in alignment through this pose. Nice work. Just a little bit longer here. We're stimulating the ganglia, the nerve plexuses along the spine here, stimulating the chakras all the way through the spine. Last few rounds of breath. Find your strength. Inhale. Suspend the breath. Exhale to release the hands down. Notice the difference between engagement and observation. This resting posture, hands can come into the lap. Spine stays tall. Feel the space that you're creating. Feel the panoramic vision starting to be installed, like you're getting a software upgrade here. And we'll make our way onto our seats. This next posture, the full pose is pretty intense. You want to find your way right onto the center of the seat bones, not too far back, not too far forward, like if you were a rocking chair, that perfect little spot that it rests at. And the full extension of the pose looks, I can't even do it because my hamstrings are too tight. I don't have the strength or the flexibility. So full extension of the pose looks like both legs out like this. I'm going to stay here and we're going to do long, deep breathing. Feel free to extend as much as you can. See what you got. Hands down by your hips. The elbows can stay bent. So not backing off completely, feeling an engagement of that navel center into your touchstone, right? But not being so overly engaged that you injure yourself. So keep the spine nice and long. Lifting when you can. If you start to shake, when you start to shake, that's a good sign. It means you're rerouting your nervous system. It means you're wiring new pathways. You're taking advantage of neuroplasticity. It's a great thing. One more breath here. And then go ahead and come down. Just rest for a second. Take a breath. And up we go. Round two. Find your touchstone. Find your stability. Reach deep. Lift the chest and the heart up. Lift the crown of the head up.
Lift the legs as high as they will go here. Stay with the breath. Let the breath sustain you. Let the eyes be soft. Gaze to your third eye. If you're challenged in this pose, know you're not alone. I'm sure I'm challenged just as much as you are. Exhale the feet down, rest. Catch yourself. And then final round, round 3, inhaling up. Stay with your breath. If you're wondering why you're doing this, why you would subject yourself to this, go ahead and get curious about that for a minute. Why did you show up tonight? Why are you here instead of somewhere else? Without being attached to the results, what are you open to? Good, good, good. You can hold the backs of the legs for the last little bit if you need it. You can always bring the feet down. Last few breaths here. What can you do? And exhale, feet down. You can cross the legs just for a moment. Integrating. Getting a picture of that touchstone. We're going to bring the hands back to where they were. And the knees come in towards the chest. Feet are about 6 inches off the ground. And we come into breath of fire. Use breath of fire unless you're on your menstrual cycle or you're pregnant, in which case long, deep breathing. If you're on the last couple days of your cycle, doing a light breath of fire is just fine. Feeling a strong engagement of the navel here as you pump the breath, pump the belly. Drawing in, gathering your power so you're not all over the place, so that you're contained, self-contained. One more minute here. Rest when you need to. You don't want to push past your breaking point. We don't want to break ourselves with Kundalini yoga. Every month we do a new Kriya, right? And if these are brand new postures to your body, the kindest thing you could do for yourself, unless you're feeling really fit, unless you're feeling really like this is super accessible, kindest thing you can do for yourself sometimes is just to take a break or to hold the backs of the legs, the backs of the thighs and modify. You know, always finding ways to modify as needed. Nobody gets a cookie for pushing themselves to the point where they really aren't in a sustainable mental space. Because Kundalini can do that. There's crazy rumors about how Kundalini will make you go crazy, and that's because people push themselves beyond a reasonable point. So it's my job to remind you, take her easy. Last couple breaths. Inhale. Suspend the breath. Envision light spiraling up the spine, all the way to the crown of the head. And exhale the feet out to the end of the mat. Just let your hands support you for a moment. Feel the hip flexors softening, relaxing. Noticing the heat, the power you've generated in your belly. Your hara, your place of power. The third chakra is known as Manipura, and that means in Sanskrit, the city of jewels.
delightful imagery. So feel those jewels lighting up in your hara. The next posture, if you have tightness in the backs of your legs, you're going to either want to bend the knees or you're going to want to sit up on something. Sit your seat bones right to the edge of a blanket or a towel, something like that. And then if you were keeping your toes warm with your socks, you might want to get rid of them. Feet come out long. Spine's going to stay really tall here. If you start to get super hunched in your spine, it's not worth it to hold on to the feet. So hold on to the legs if that allows you to keep a bit of integrity in the spine. And if you can reach the big toes, the thumb presses the toenail and the peace fingers wrap around the bottoms of the toes. And we do long, deep breaths here. Spine tall, front of the body tall. Crown of head rising, probably towards where the ceiling and the wall meet. We balance the pituitary gland, one of the master glands of the body, when we press on this pressure point of the toes. Keeping a sense of lifting through the heart here. The tendency, of course, is going to be to round and slump. So letting the breath fill you up like one of those parking lot, car sale tube guys, inflatable tube guys. On their inhale, they're up. You don't want to be wobbling all around on the exhale, but keeping yourself inflated, rising up on the inhale, releasing whatever is ready to be let go of on the exhale. Almost there. Pinky toes drawing towards you, keeping the legs active. And inhale, suspend the breath. Exhale. And go ahead and shake it out for a moment. Get yourself neutralized. We're gonna come back into that posture. We're gonna add the mantra hum. Hum, hum, I'll lead. We'll do about 3 hums for each breath. So coming back into wherever you were, you might have a little more space now. You might want to back off and inhaling. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. 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 Last couple rounds. Hum, hum, hum. Hum, hum, hum. Inhale, coming up to regular seated position. Noticing the impact, the subtle impact of the mantra. Staying very present. Seeing what's arising out of this practice, what's coming into view. Not searching, just allowing whatever is becoming clear to do just that. And then making your way into Shavasana, a resting posture, whatever makes you comfortable. Feeling invited here to cover your eyes with something. If you have something to cover your eyes with, a scarf, an eye pillow, even a blanket, if it's the right weight. And making yourself very, very comfortable. Making any adjustments necessary. As if you were going to be here for quite a while. And as you settle, you can let another sigh release. Perhaps anything that was loosened up during the practice, having an opportunity to escape through being sighed out, allowing whatever is ready to go, And feeling the entire body relax. And the whole body just softening, absorbing that subtlety, integrating. Leaving time and space
for doing that integration. Letting yourself focus on the touchstone. That place of terra firma, the firm ground, the steady self. Letting that touchstone be like an anchor. Your mind may be like the buoy, wandering away, moving this way, bobbing around. That's fine. It's tethered. You trust your mind to stay nearby. Letting your awareness be like a vast lake, observing the mind, observing the touchstone, spreading expansively, much to observe. Sense of deep peace. Sense yourself as peace. Sense yourself connected to the divine, tapped right into source. allowing yourself to continue that expansive sensation. Flowing like water and light. Peaceful. Unhindered. With access to solid ground. As if you've been floating magically in this beautiful, expansive lake under the water, like a mermaid. Start to imagine yourself beginning to move slowly towards the surface. Very gently, very gradually, very calmly, drawing yourself from the depths into a brighter, more physically aware place. Slowly becoming more aware of your breath. Gradually noticing the connection points between the body and the floor beneath you. Observing that even with your closed eyes, you have eyeballs that can move. And begin to make tiny movements with the fingers, toes. Straighten the legs a little more. Get some feeling into the thighs, the knees. Firming up the elbows. Yawning. Drawing the knees in towards the chest to give yourself a hug. And sending the arms out to the side. Sending the knees over to one side for a twist on your back. Taking a breath. Inhaling back to center. Twisting the other way. And then pressing yourself up to seated from here. Finding a comfortable seated place, build yourself a seat so there's something underneath you, letting the hips come higher than the knees. For our meditation, we'll be doing long satnams. We'll chant together. You're gonna want, for the mudra, you're gonna want your left palm to be face up. And then bring the right palm on top, a little hand sandwich. And then the left thumb goes on top of the right palm. And the right thumb goes on top of the left. So, like that. Left palm up, left thumb on top of right, right thumb on top of left. Little crisscross. And then the hands just come out like you're both making an offering and welcoming in whatever it is you most need to receive. So we'll chant long satnams for about 7 minutes. Inhale. Inhale and exhale. The hands come down, palms face up. Sit in the seat of yourself. Sit firmly ensconced on your touchstone. Feel into your bliss, into the space, into the possibility. Sense your limitlessness. Your expansiveness. Your connection to the earth. And blessing yourself, blessing your family, the people you care about, the people it's hard to care for, the people you don't like at all. May we go out to be the lighthouses for ourselves and others. Peace to all, love to all, light to all. Let's close out with a long Satnam. I encourage you to drink some tea or some water after this. Maybe you want to walk outside in the grass, go for a little sky gazing adventure. Just feel the breeze on your face, ground into some kind of nature, even if you just touch a plant in your house for a moment. Get yourself connected. This is a pretty etheric practice with all of the chanting. So if you're feeling a little spacey, nothing wrong with that, but it could be good to ground down.